All right, everyone. Hello, welcome to another episode of Just Boolin.
What up? What
Today,
up?
I'm joined, as always, by my amazing co-host, Sketch.
What's good, y'all?
Today, we're a couple days late, but the other day, if you guys saw our last episode, we talked about watching Monster Hunter. We did. Um, so that's gonna be the episode. We're gonna review the Monster Hunter movie, but first, we're gonna me, Sketch, and I are huge fans of Monster Hunter. Mind
Very
you,
good day.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Sketch probably has way more hours than I do, but we love the series. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna start by telling you guys where we started in the series, what we love about the series, what we're looking forward to when this what's on the horizon for the series. But to start, just go from the roots. My very first Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter 2 for PS2. Um, and then the one that I played the most, I don't remember was the Monster Hunter for the PSP. I played that religiously on deployment with a friend of mine named Roscoe. Talking about hours and hours and hours. Get off watch, hunting. Let's go. Hunting. Let's go. And my love for the series grew. I know for a couple years ago, Sketch. I'm sure you heard about it. They had that Monster Hunter Online. There's like a Xbox and like PC exclusive to only I think Japan for a long time. Um, I tried to get
Yeah.
into that. Didn't have any luck getting into that or any of the. Back then I wasn't super great at modding or anything like that. But Monster Hunter World dropped.
Oh man.
Amazing game.
So I think my first game was the PSP game. If I'm not mistaken, that's Freedom Unite.
Freedom
Um,
Unite. Okay.
yeah. So that was my first Monster Hunter game. Um, that was I want to say that was back when it's like a year after I graduated. I want to say I graduated in 2008. Um, but I got a hold of that thing and I had heard of Monster Hunter, but I thought it was a turn-based game because I had little exposure to JRPGs. I think um, Final Fantasy and like a couple and Kingdom Hearts were my only real entries into JRPGs. I don't like turn-based, but I got my hands on it and it sparked the interest for like that whole summer, and then I lost it again. And I'd always pick it up and see merch for it and stuff like that, and I would never have a system that had a game on it for whatever reason. Just whatever
Oh,
point in time.
you have a Game Gear and it's on Game Boy.
Yeah, or something like that. Or like I don't have a game system at all. And like I
I
want
get
to
that.
really want to play, but then I looked out and I got a refurbished uh 3DS and I got Monster Hunter Generations.
Yeah. Ooh,
And I played that religiously for all of 6 months up until World came out.
man. Uh, wow. I went and looked, and the one that I played was Monster Hunter Freedom. That's the one that I played on the PSP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, fucking amazing game. Monster Hunter World, as far as I'm concerned, changed the game. I have over 300 some hours on PlayStation. Sketch has over 1,000 easy. Um,
Yeah, about 1,600 between the PS4 and the Xbox.
that's it. That's literally the exact reason why I'm super glad that we have. Space Marine 2 coming out this year with a chance to us we're probably gonna beat it, knock it out within a month or whatever,
Oh
and
yeah.
then be waiting for the DLC or just going after Easter eggs or just doing whatever. But Monster Hunter Wilds drop, everyone
Man.
listening, I'm telling you right now that's probably gonna be the game for a lot of people. When I tell
Yeah.
you that they have taken what they've learned from Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise and put it
Oh,
together.
bro, that's what I love about Capcom in particular and the Monster Hunter games because they take from each game and they build on what you have.
Yeah, it's not like you just give an entirely just random stuff. Oh, we're trying something new. For example, in Monster Hunter World, we had the scout flies, but then in Monster Hunter Rise they went back to the paintballs, and then I think in the future they're gonna stick with paintballs. That was kind of like the first time they changed it, right?
Hmm.
Okay, okay.
But the thing I liked about the change between Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise was the Clutch Claw because they introduced a Clutch Claw and it's pretty freaking cool. They have the wire bugs all over the map and stuff like that in certain places. But just the traversal and being able to latch onto the monster, especially in Iceborne, that was great. But taking it a step further in Monster Hunter Rise, where you can wire bug across, like you have a wire bug, you can just do the wire bug thing like you could in out in the world in world, but you can do it on command as long as you have enough, and it's a bit of resource management, but that's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
And
and when
I
I tell you this guy looked like Spider Man flying around, it didn't make no
oh
sense.
bro, you feel like a ninja. Like it's obviously very like Japanese um themed game rises. Um you're in basically a Monster Hunter Ninja Village, but it feels so amazing. You feel like an act like you feel like the hunter. Not like you just look like the hunter in the cutscenes, or every now and then you get that one awesome moment where you feel like you belong in this world. Like at all times, if you can do something, you feel like you belong in the world, and I love that. I can't wait to see what they take from Rise and put into Wilds because it's the next logical step.
On top of that, when I tell you guys that it's gonna be the game for everyone, they're releasing it on everything, and it's going
Oh yeah,
to um be cross play everything. Everyone is going to be able to play with everyone. And when I tell you that it is literally probably going to like think about it, Sketch. Think about while we have, 4-person missions running and blah blah blah, think about when they add a 8-person or
oh
add a
bro,
16-person. Because I
they're doing
remember
something. Yeah,
on the PSP one, can't remember Shao Lin, Shao whatever. It's a giant
oh
fucking
Shenlong.
Shenlong. It's a giant fucking dragon that is so big, like you don't fight it. You literally it's walking through and you're attacking it to literally try to just keep it going and keep it moving or whatever. And that was with like up to I want to say 4 people. So imagine that what was the Monster Hunter World
Oh,
what's
Zora
the
Magdaros.
you know it.
Yep.
That mission, the Zora Magno mission, when you literally have to run around this huge fucking base,
You
loading these missiles up, loading these cannons up, firing these cannons, loading these other. Imagine you got 8 other people running around doing
that's
that.
right. You didn't really mess with any of the tempered stuff or whatever, any like the real like in
I didn't
game,
get I didn't get to the big baddies. I need
bro.
to. I think closer to. I'm gonna pick it back up. Try to at least finish Iceborne in order to have the button muscle memory down.
You just let me know whatever
I'm for
time you
real,
want to do
man.
it. You
Yeah.
just
Well,
let
I
me know.
know that. Yeah, yeah.
I will kick on the fucking PlayStation 4 and we will go because I still got a bone to pick with fucking Fatalis and fucking Raging Brachydios. I ain't got my licks back yet. Like I beat him once, but I still want my fucking licks. But the reason I brought it up is because there are raids. Kulv Taroth is a raid.
Okay.
That's the monster you get all the Kiara weapons from, which are those crazy gold weapons. It's kind of RNG because basically you break them off of her. She has like fucking like ancient. weapons embedded in her hide because she's got molten gold on her and shit. It's crazy. The whole story behind it is
Okay.
nuts, but it is one of the coolest monsters and one of the coolest fights like raids I've ever been a part of. Um, and then for Iceborne, we have Safi Jiva, which is the adult version of Xenojiva that we fight at the end of Monster Hunter World. And that is just an adult red dragon. Actually, it's an adolescent red dragon. If anybody from D&D is watching, um, those are anybody out there who hasn't played Iceborne, please do so, please. It hurts my heart as a Monster Hunter fan to tell you this, but you can skip Ice or you can skip World. You can get the expansion, get the Defender armor, and bool around until you get proper masterwork. But get your hands on that game because they improve the monsters so much. They give them new attacks. Like everything is like cinematic. But yeah, definitely get your hands on that. Just anybody interested in Monster Hunter, please get your hands on it, and because this shit is gonna be wild.
Yeah, we played it on PlayStation. That's why I got expansion on PlayStation. Um, but I'm almost convinced now that the expansion is that game's probably like super cheap right now all over that. They're
Oh
giving
yeah,
it away. They're giving it away at this point. We missed the movie.
we missed a movie.
We missed the movie. Monster Hunters Legends of the Guild.
No.
It's a CG animated fantasy film, and it occurs right before Monster Hunter World. So it's already acquired. So
Okay.
we're going to go ahead and knock that out soon. But speaking of the movie, that actually leads us right into the review. You know,
Ooh. All right.
so Sketch and I, we sat down, we watched Monster Hunter, we watched it straight through just so you guys know what it is and what it's about. It stars I'm gonna say her last name wrong. What's her last say her name?
Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich of Resident Evil fame. If you don't know her from anything, she was in all of the uh uh no, yeah, she was in all. I could easily say she was in all of the Resident Evil films because she was in the only ones in those that wasn't CGI, and it wasn't the brand new one, the Welcome to Raccoon City one, which was
Yeah.
trash.
Old
But
heads know her from The Fifth Element.
and old heads know her from The Fifth Element. Yes, she was Lilu.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god, that movie is so fucking awesome, dude. I just when you said Fifth Element, I just had a just what's the happiness thing? What's the when you think happy thoughts, Peter Pan? What's the
Oh,
endorphins?
yeah.
Serotonin.
The serotonin.
No, serotonin is what
Oh,
makes you sleep,
oh
man.
no, no, dopamine. No,
Dopamine.
that's
That.
melatonin is what makes you sleepy.
Yeah, dopamine. Yeah, that. Dopamine. Whatever. That. Happiness. Because all I'm thinking about is Chris Tucker
Bro,
and
Ruby
what
Rod.
I still consider one of his best performances ever.
Yeah.
Um, Not a lot of people talk about this part, but I love the fucking opera part so fucking much. I
Yes.
loved it. But that's another episode. We won't. But Milo, she was in that, so we love her for that already. So we went into this giving her it was high. So just the gist of the Monster Hunter movie. Everyone who's listening to this, has some gist of Monster Hunter. The premise is you're a hunter in a world full of giant monsters. And what you do is you go on missions to further investigate why these monsters are acting the way they do, or migrate in a certain place, hunt giant creatures with all kinds of ranges of weapons. Obviously we got our gunners
Yes,
and
sir.
I personally am a sword and shield now. I may pick up and do because they say in Monster Hunter Wilds you can carry two weapons at a time. So I'm planning on probably doing sword and shield and switching to dual blades when I want to get up and close and snippy snippy,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm trying to be like busting heads. I'm gonna have sketch out there fucking switching between the bow and the gun and tearing shit up, and I'm gonna be tearing them up. But
I can't wait.
dude, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. So, all right. So that said, we know the monsters, are hunted in Monster Hunter. All right. Basically, Mila Jovovich and her squad. I don't
Yeah.
say squad. Her and the squad consists of two vehicles. Ti, Megan Good, and other actors that didn't last long enough for me to
Yeah.
remember who they were.
Word.
But Ti, Megan Good, Megan Good, she went out first. Ti was next. He actually got some eggs laid in him. But okay, just to the story is, their squad is out in the desert. They get hit by a weird storm, dust storm or whatever, and they get transported to the Monster Hunter world,
Mhm.
TM. And so what they do is trying to figure out what they do. They are attacked by Diabolos.
Diablos.
Diabolos. Sorry, Diabolos is my server in Final Fantasy 14. Di- Diablos,
Fucking nerd.
a black Diablos.
Yeah, that was
It's very important we make that distinction and sketch
yeah.
explain to them why.
Those who don't know, number one, Black Diablos is female. Um, Number two, it's black because it's in heat, making it very aggressive and like hypersensitive um, to sound and its environment in general. Also, for those who play the game, you know that this thing tracks like a mofo. Stay away from walls because it'll bend corners and double back on you. But yeah, it was actually a plus in at least in my books when the Diablos showed up because the first Diablos is not a black Diablos. I don't know when they made the switch, but sometime during the time where Ti and Mila Jovovich are fighting the Diablos, it becomes black. And I'm like, did it just go into heat like in the middle of battle? That's wild. And it was
Um,
after a rage moment too. So
I mean that's slick on them for including it and making it go that way.
whoever was behind the team for the monsters, A plus in this movie. This
Oh
movie,
yeah, that's its own section. That's okay. So okay, all right. So the gist of the plot itself being their squad gets transported to the Monster Hunter world. They get attacked by Diablos, that becomes a black Diablos and chases them to a rock formation. The crew over time gets slowly, whittled out by, they call Nersalis. They're
yeah,
basically these spider creatures, spider scorpion creatures, and they can't come out during the daytime, but they attack and whatever. So those are the ones that catch Ti and basically put some eggs in him. I don't remember what happened to Megan Good, but all right. Anyway,
she got
so
one of the she got 8-8.
ooh, damn. Okay, yeah, rip. So they're all down. The star of the movie, Mila, she eventually gets saved. I take it back. Throughout the entire time, these soldiers are being assisted by the Hunter. I don't think they ever said his exact name. They just call him the Hunter. You remember them saying his name?
She was kind of no, I don't remember them saying
Oh,
his
the
name.
actor. The actor, yeah, Tony Jaa.
Yeah, yeah. Um, from obviously everybody knows him from like On Bak Tai Warrior and those kind of movies. Which amazing actor, very impressive physically. I'm kind
Ooh.
of Tony Jaa.
I
Um,
understand. I was like, ooh, yeah,
oh,
yeah, he was doing some shit in that movie.
man. But I will say, for my money, I don't know why they brought poor Tony Jaa in. There's a lot of actors in this movie where I'm just like, why are y'all here?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I plan to
got
get
no
to that
big
part.
names.
Part of the story, part of the synopsis is my favorite part. All right, so um, they're assisted the entire time by Tony Jaa, the hunter, via his bows or whatever. He's actually stranded as well, and he has a makeshift shelter built in order to keep them out. Very slick too, spikes and everything. They can't get in. They attack every night, still can't get in. Pretty impressive. So them working together after one, they beat the shit out of each other. Like they just fight it out,
Yeah.
get over it. Shit, they bond over a Hershey chocolate bar, and then they team up and to go and fight this Diablos.
And there's a training montage where she learns how to use the dual blade.
I thought about that, and I have to note that they are Army Rangers. Okay, so they supposed to be the best of the best, top of the line. They get shit done. Army Ranger, Army Ranger, Army Ranger, Army Ranger. So at first I was like, damn, she took on dual blades pretty quick. Damn, she already fucking took on to that really quick. Damn, I was like, you know what? She is Army Ranger. Maybe that's it's okay to be born with just or trained enough to be able to just take something and run with it. Like you a weapon, you're a weapon no matter
That's
what's in your hands.
that's why I left it alone because they made him say at least 3 times um before she trained with the dual blades Rangers. If I'm not mistaken, before uh Megan Good and Steeler get capped, Ti says when they're rallying when she gives that speech, Ti says Rangers lead the way.
Yep, yep. So I mean they make it clear that
Yeah,
they're
they are
bamps.
trained.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and for my money, Steeler was a badass. Steeler was handling business.
which one?
Steeler. He's the one that got picked up and chomped by the Nursilla. I think he was the first one to get got.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So Mila and the Hunter. Oh, her name's in the. Let me go. Her name in the movie is Artemis and the Hunter. They
Yeah,
get together. They go down and trek through. Try to make it to a thing. They get a rocket that try to shoot and kill and end up basically killing the Diablos by basically driving a great sword through his brain.
yeah, which was kind of fucking dope. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That first time he stabbed down, I was like, okay. And then they kind of just teamed up, took turns, basically making sure just driving that shit down. So that was really cool. They end up making it obviously past Diablos, making it to a ship, and then Clay from Sons of Anarchy shows up with a giant axe. He he just seemed the one out of everything outside of the Army Ranger with dual blades. He was the most out of place thing in that entire movie. He just I feel like could have did anything else with his character design or whatever. He just looked. I
Yeah,
don't know. I wasn't a fan. Fight scenes between they eventually go against the Rathalos. They get transported back to her world. The the movie shows that when push come to shove, the United States military ain't no match for a Rathalos.
which was crazy. That
Took
thing was.
everything down.
You know what it reminded me
Everything.
of? It reminded me of Rain of Fire. That whole bit.
Ooh.
That whole bit reminded me of Rain of
That's a
Fire.
great movie too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh man. So they battle the Rathalos. The hunter comes and helps them. They end up being transported back to the Monster Hunter world in order to stay there. And something I did forget: close this tower, this sky tower that's causing the portals.
Yeah.
The movie ends with them fighting the Rathalos. the I, Doing my research, I saw grumblings about the actor signing on to say she would actress Mila she would stay on to do it again. The director said there's hundreds of monsters in this game and we could talk and make so much content out of it. And I feel like once Wilds come out, it's a wrap. You're gonna see Monster Hunter everywhere. That we're gonna sketch. That's probably when we're gonna get another Monster Hunter show.
I hope so.
Promise you.
Maybe not directed by this guy, maybe not with Mila Jovovich, but I would definitely want some more Monster
It's,
Hunter.
it's been out. It's been out long enough for a reboot without no one caring. What year was this?
Yeah,
2014?
it's been
No,
10 years.
2020. I mean, 4 years. They've done it.
Oh,
They've done it
no,
with
they've
less.
done it. Yeah.
They've done it with less. So that's it. That's the synopsis of the movie. I'm gonna start with the the good the good. and Sketch mentioned that the good is the monster design.
Oh, bro, yes.
Chef's kiss. Everything that they did concerning um anything to do with the monsters was on point. The way the Diablo swam through and emerged from sand, beautiful. The way that it attacked, beautiful. Um, I even like the maze at the spiders, their nest. That was cool. Like
Oh,
just
bro.
because there was a moment like she had a flare and she was kind of walking through it, and you can like see it. You can see, how just massive this nest was. That was awesome. Rathalos battle, amazing.
For my money, the Nursilla are some of the best parts of that fucking movie for the monsters, just
They're the
because
main big bad, honestly.
they do such a good job of like telling you their threat without being able to explain what the fuck they are and why they're here. They just drop them on you. You just have to deal with that now. But you are
Yeah.
not bothered by it. You're not like, oh, that looks weird. Like, oh, you're not sitting there examining it because it's a good fucking monster. And I love that. You don't have time to sit there and pick it apart because it's a good fucking monster that does what the fuck it's supposed to do. Same with every other monster. You said the way Diablo swims and the way it hunts, but I want to put a special spotlight on the way it walks. In
Oh,
particular, the way it walks while it's engaged. Because, like I said, I spent a lot of time playing Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, and I love that game. I love fighting huge monsters. You tell me I can fight dragons with a bow and arrow? Oh, best believe I'm about to beat that thing all upside the head with that thing. But I obviously I studied the monster. I love the way they move. That thing moves like when you flinch it or when you wake it up and it's looking at you right before it roars and starts to hunt. It looks so amazing. And the fact that they got that stalking look, just the way its head moves versus the way its body moves as it like locks onto you and moves around you. This shit was amazing.
I agree.
Even a little lip quiver with the Rathalos when it's about to fucking roar and shit. Also, um, shout out to the directors, or the character designers for these monsters. Um, the gas coming out of the Rathalos
I,
that
s-
breathe
I
fire.
that was just thinking that when the Rathalos opens its mouth and right before it breathes fire, it shows in its mouth through little holes in its jaw, flammable gas pouring into its mouth before the spark. It is crazy.
I freaking love it. Just once again, it's a small bit of just explain it like, and they didn't say anything about it. Like they didn't waste any time trying to throw like, oh, we got a science geek, he can explain this. They didn't do that. We are in the middle of God knows what, and there are dragons. We got to deal with that. I will say, from a writing standpoint, they dropped the ball in a lot of ways in
That
the
was the
movie,
next one. Writing was
but
the bad.
but that they got right. When it came to the monsters and like dealing with the shit, they got it right. Even that
Calico.
kind of lame scene where Mila Jovovich gives that speech, because it's so obvious that they tried to pull from Deep Blue Sea. It's so obvious that they tried to pull from that with the, oh, we're gonna give this nice amazing speech, and then right as I give it, somebody's gonna get got. Only problem is number two, they didn't commit, so they couldn't have the leader give it because Mila Jovovich would have died. Number two, they kind of ham fisted the whole speech, and everything kind of seemed stilted. Nobody was engaged in this. Nobody believed in this movie. None of the actors did. Like
I,
maybe Tony Jaa, but I think that's just because he couldn't speak any English in this role.
I that's another thing that upset me. They literally in the first beginning of the movie, he's speaking whatever his language is to her, and they don't translate it. And then when later on, when he's around the other hunters, then they translate the speech. That was crazy to me. But um, so good was monster design,
Yeah,
uh, location design, beautiful. The movie itself was beautiful. The story, not so much. I would have much preferred them just to just start it in Monster Hunter. We didn't need
Well,
crossover. Let's just give us a Monster Hunter story. Explain to us what they monsters do, and then show a monster, a hunter, a beginner hunter on his way. And then movie 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, only
Good.
because this has been done before. When I tell you watching that movie, you can see where they snatch these ideas from. The inspiring scene, that's just Deep Blue Sea, the Samuel L. Jackson scene. You are not gonna freak out. We are going to do this.
Didn't
And
T.I.
then you
give that speech?
no, that's Mila. Well, they a couple of them kind of give it. Ti kind of gives it. Mila kind of gives it. I think Steeler gives one part of it
Okay.
too. But and that's another reason they kind of botched it because it's kind of all over the place. Um, and there was a lot of like snap of it, but it was very like downplayed. It was weird. Anyway, but um, that idea was always taken from Deep Blue Sea. Um, the swarms, like the spiders and stuff like that. Pick a sci-fi movie. Like it's very easy to see where this came from. Um,
That was literally just a plot of Riddick.
yeah, exactly. When they burst out the smaller ones burst out
Yeah.
of the hole and stuff like that, I said that immediately. I was like, that's pitch black. But what the reason I disagree with not dropping them like in the middle of the desert is because Gate, we have Gate, literally military people thrown into fantasy, bullshit. We have that, and if they'd have stopped doing weird shit and actually get actors who are engaged in the actual plot and get a writer who is not a robot, they could actually done it right. It was very easy to do this, like the whole like it's one of the most basic premise, just a stranger in a strange land. All you have to do is not be weird, not like have the actors and the dialogue not be weird, and
Yeah.
it'll be okay. I'm not saying it
Okay,
will be like amazing, but it'll be okay.
I mean, they focus on a lot. They focus too much on the story around them being a squad, working together, keeping them together. They're looking for the squad that disappeared for there'll only be one person to live.
Exactly. They didn't, if they'd have focused more on, okay, we need to figure out what's going on and we need to figure out how to survive. But they were too busy focused on looking at everything. And I'm like, no, that's not what they're for. That's what we're for. Pick two people in the Artemis squad, let them be good or positive viewer surrogate and negative viewer surrogate, let them have interactions with clashing views and let everybody else be part of the story. That's what we need. But you have everybody and their mom in that group trying to be the viewer surrogate on how weird this world is and how we don't know anything about this world, while also trying to be their same characters.
And the
And
star placement was just crazy. Like, why do you have a movie with T.I. and Megan Good in it to kill them off?
yeah, Ti, Megan Good, Ron Perlman, um,
Yep.
Tony Jaa, like it was, and the budget on this was weird. It seems like they tried to pull like a Michael Bay type thing because once again, the monsters are amazing. You can see where the money went in this, and none of it went to the writers. Because like when I tell you this was an easy slam dunk, like if you'd have got the people who wrote Snakehead Terror or Project Viper from Sci-Fi Channel, or even Arachnid 3, we would have had a slam dunk. Mila Jovovich would have got out of the Resident Evil hole
Yeah.
and everything. Because I'm be honest with you, I went into this with not high hopes, but hopes that it would be a movie. But hearing Mila Jovovich in anything is usually a death sentence for it,
Mm.
just because for whatever reason her movies are not well known for their acting chops and things like that. Fifth Element being one, but I think that was just lightning in a
I
bottle.
honestly can't say I've seen her in anything besides The Fifth Element, the Resident Evil movie. This one.
Yeah, it's The Fifth Element, Resident Evil. She was in Three Musketeers, and she basically did the same thing that she did
I
in the
do
Resident
remember
Evil movies.
Three Musketeers.
Yeah, she was a side character that they made into a not even a side character. She was a main character, but they made her into like a thing. And I
Yeah.
remember her in the trailers. She was like doing the Mila Jovovich thing where she's like on wires, like Charlie's
Yep.
Angels, full
I did
throttle.
not know she was in Zoolander. Yeah, I've never seen
Forgot
any of
about
these
that.
movies. Yeah.
But yeah,
And Zoolander too, apparently. Hellboy, the new one.
that being said, I wouldn't say most of the movies are bad, but they're just not known for their writing, you know. But
She.
I
Okay.
was I was unfortunately disappointed with how lacking the writing was. But overall, going into it not knowing about Monster Hunter, man, those creatures look cool.
And then I'm excited. I'm excited to see where Monster Hunter Wilds takes the franchise. During the Capcom survey, Monster Hunter got a lot of votes about just around the world about people wanted it to be, you know, brought to the future and upgraded, blah blah blah. So that was up there. And my game Breath of Fire 3 was up there a lot too, by the way.
Hell
Um
yeah, I love
overall,
it. I can't
overall, what
go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying. So overall, I mean, we forget sometime to do the rating. I mean, if I can do it three ratings, no, let's do two. Um, Writing, obviously, I'm gonna get at like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah,
Um, but character design, costume design, location, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It was good. It looked like the Monster Hunter games. I knew what I was looking at when I saw the monsters. It looked good.
okay. Um,
Uh,
for me, on the basis of the writing and the actors, uh, I'm gonna give that a 3.5.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 4, just because the back half of that movie, once they got past the parts where the writers obviously just didn't care enough to flesh out the characters. Once all the fat was trimmed from the cast and it was just the main people who everybody cared about, um, the interactions became easier.
Mhm.
And so, like, case in point, when they got out of the fucking Nursilla caves and Tony Jaa and Mila Jovovich are like sharing that fun little moment between them. And like he's like chocolate. He's like, no, I have no
Yeah.
feelings. Yeah, that was funny. Like, and it showed a bit of like camaraderie. Like I like that bit. And it felt natural after all of the other interactions they had that seemed kind of just everything kind of seemed forced. Like I said, nobody in this movie seemed very like convinced of who they were. They all seemed like they were cosplaying. Um,
Yeah.
so that's why. But those good parts are why I give it a 4. Um, that being said, I will put an asterisk by this. Besides Tony Jaa, everybody gets an F before the platoon dies, and Megan Good should know better. She's an actual actress. I can kind of snuff Ti on that one because you know I yeah, but Megan Good's an actual actress. Come on, man.
I
That
liked her
guy
in
like
Biker Boys.
garbage. You know what? No.
I just love that movie. Um, I mean, so I mean, w- we say all this to say while the movie wasn't great, and we have the CGI one to watch, and we'll talk about that too. We'll give a small snippet to the next episode just to mention it. But what we want you guys to know and gals to know is that, and all y'all to know, it's an amazing franchise.
Oh my God,
The
yes.
the game, the controls, the story has gotten nothing but better over the years. Like this is one of the few like franchises that they watch and pay attention to what people like, and they give them more of that, and they improve on that. Like I say, they have some moments like again with World. It is paintball and Rise, right? Hit him with a paintball, or is that coming back in Wilds?
No, that's coming. That should be coming back in Wilds.
Okay, so yeah, so I misspoke earlier. So in the game, in order to track monsters in Monster Hunter World and Rise, you find their scratches or their
Hmm.
footprints or their dung or whatever, and then these scout flies, they just kind of sniff them out and you just chase them. In the previous game, what we do is you do the same thing. You track the monster using these same clues or whatever, but in order to follow it, you hit it with a paintball. It showed up on the map. You could track it. Blah blah blah. So they're bringing back the wilds, and that was always fun to me, So
Yeah, you couldn't really do that in, or didn't really need to do that in Monster Hunter World because each of the areas was like its own little sandbox. But with this one, we're gonna have like an actual open world,
I
so
cannot wait. I
we can
cannot
actually
wait.
like chase them. Once again, I said it before when we watched it, but I am such a stand for open world games with active weather systems.
Ooh yeah.
Metal Gear Phantom Pain ruined me for that. Honestly, Black Flag did because you could get like just random storms on the sea, but Metal Gear Phantom Pain ruined me because you'd be bulling through the desert, just doing your thing, and all of a sudden a sandstorm will come, and it makes
Yeah.
the fighting that much harder, and it's so cool. It's so immersive.
Oh, man, I cannot wait for Delta either. That's another one that's on the list. Oof.
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna lose so much time to that. Do not forget, do not forget, um, when you slide into Sacravino, um, through the waterway, go to the right, look for the alligator on the edge of the map, kill it, and you'll get the battery, the infinite battery for your night vision goggles.
Okay, noted. I was thinking, because I want to you know, more content. I want to do it prior to the game also too.
It's like you're cutting out for me. Say that
Oh,
one more
really?
time. Yeah.
Oh, I was saying. So what I was get this, because I want to make more content and do stuff like that. I want to um do a playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3 prior to Delta's release. So it can
Okay.
have that talk of this was fun because the game in itself is stands up to great.
Absolutely. The story is phenomenal. It's one of the best. Um, obviously they were doing Assassin's Creed stuff before Assassin's Creed were like weaving in history. I'll never forget my mom actually sitting down with me while I was playing uh S- Snake Eater, and the call that goes out talking about Khrushchev, Nikita Khrushchev, and when he dies, Brezhnev and Kosygin, trying to slide in and take over,
Yeah.
and then like Lenin's whole speech, hero of socialism, Alexander Leonovich Granin, it's just like seeing, like watching her and like seeing the recognition and like, oh, I know about that thing, like, so what's this about? And like her having her ask questions, it was such a cool experience, and that also let me know that they were doing like it was almost like a reaffirmation. It's like, number one, my mom likes this. Number two, she's
Yeah.
confirming that there's some serious shit in here, so I definitely need to pay attention if it's got her attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's gonna be an amazing game. I can't wait.
yeah, can't wait.
Um, we appreciate you guys listening as always. Listening to us talk about one of our favorite. It's gonna be one that you guys hear us talk about again as more stuff gets released. What we know so far is open world. We can play with everybody on every system. We gonna get it on PC.
Absolutely.
Um, and then I mean we'll see you out there. Chasing you. We'll be the ones riding Rathalos.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of you listening. Really appreciate stopping by, just taking the time out just to give us a couple of minutes of your time. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and check out the links. Sketch has been dropping some amazing content on his YouTube page. Link will be below. And as always,
Don't forget to have fun, yo.
take care.
Peace.